Hey, what's up everybody? Today I'm going to walk through this MHA calculator tool for you, and hopefully this will be a great way for you to track and calculate your allowable expenses for ministers' housing allowance. Now, I do have some other videos that you should jump over and watch that help walk through kind of the basics of what's allowed for MHA, what are some common things that trip people up with MHA, what are some things that you're wasting time on potentially that you don't necessarily need to be tracking with MHA. So jump over and watch those videos. But for now, let's jump into this Excel-based tool and just walk through how to use it. It might be a little intimidating if you don't really care for Excel, but I promise you it's super easy. It's really straightforward. Let's jump in and use it. So you're only going to enter data into the cells that are shaded in light blue. And one of the great things about this is if you accidentally try to delete or type something in, the cells are protected, so you actually can only change the cells that you're supposed to be able to change. So you shouldn't be able to mess things up too bad in that way. So if you have your W-2, typically it will have the amount that is designated as MHA on it. So that's going to be what you type in first on this designated amount. It says most likely that's in box 14 of your W-2. Let's say that's $30,000 a year. Then you're going to type in your fair rental value. Now, fair rental value is what your home could rent for if it was to rent. Now, if you own your home, you get to use the fair rental value of your home furnished. So if you go to realtor.com or Zillow.com or somewhere and you look at the rental value of your home, that's going to be for your home unfurnished. So you want to add some. I'm not a realtor, but usually what I do is I just add $500 a month, typically, depending on the size of the house, for kind of a starting point for furnishings for the house. So take what's on the website as the fair rental value, add some in there for furnishings for that, and that's what you're going to type in here for the fair rental value if you own your home. Now, if you rent your home, the fair rental value, just type in what you actually pay in rent because that's the fair rental value. So let's say this person owns their home and that's going to come out to $3,500 per month. So you can see the note over here that says enter this as a monthly amount. Now you're going to come down here and you're going to choose whether or not you owned or rented the home. I said in this example, we're going to say that this person owned it. Then you get to choose whether or not you want to type in your mortgage payment, your utilities as a monthly amount or as an annual amount. And if you choose annual, these notes here will change and tell you, please enter this as an annual amount. If you choose monthly, it's going to still say enter as monthly amount. So you'll be able to tell as you walk through it. Now we're going to type in that their mortgage payment is $1,500 per month. Property taxes and insurance, we're going to say that those are escrowed, which just means that that's already included in your monthly mortgage payment and your bank handles paying your insurance and your property taxes for you. If that's the case, don't put anything in here. If not, you need to put in the amount that you pay for property taxes and insurance in that spot. This, if you rent spot, well, because you chose that you own your home instead of rent, it's going to black it out so you know not to put anything in there. Then we're going to go through and just type in, okay, for water, I pay $100 a month. I pay $200 a month for electric, $50 a month for internet. I don't have any propane or gas bill. My home maintenance and repairs, we're going to average that out. It comes to $50 a month. Household items and supplies, we're spending $25 a month on. And then these down here, you'll see this note says enter these as annual amounts or total amounts for the year because this particular category, okay, you're not going to really break your down payment into multiple, a monthly amount or furniture and appliances. You want to just kind of put in what you spent on that during the year, not necessarily a monthly expense that you have. So these are typically things like remodeling that you're not really spending monthly on, but you might have spent some large sum amounts on these. So let's say you spent $2,500 remodeling or repairing a bathroom or something. All right. And that's all you need to do. The tool is then going to take care of which amount is your allowable minister's housing allowance. So in this particular case, the fair rental value plus the utilities came to $46,200. The designated amount was $30,000, and the actual amount spent added up to $25,900. So in this case, what you get for minister's housing allowance, the allowable housing allowance, is always the lesser of these three amounts. Now, a lot of people don't typically spend the time actually working this out, but this is what you need to do each year. So in this particular case, the lowest amount of these three is what you actually spent. Therefore, the tool is going to tell you that the allowable MHA is $25,900, which is the lowest of those three. And then it's actually going to calculate the excess housing allowance here as well. So what that is that's the amount that was designated minus the amount that's allowed is the excess amount. That actually needs to be added back to your taxable income on your tax return, where your taxable wages go on the front page of the tax return, and then a note to the left will usually show up that says excess allowance. So you definitely want to check on that if this is the situation that you're in. Now let's say that, the mortgage payment was actually for this same house. We're not going to change the fair rental value. We're not going to change the designated amount. But let's just say the mortgage payment was actually $2,200 a month. Well, you can see now that the designated amount becomes the lowest amount. That becomes your allowable MHA. And now there's no excess MHA because what was actually designated and paid to you is the amount that you're going with. So there's nothing needed to be added back to taxable income. In this particular case, I would say that because your actual and your fair rental value is above the designated amount, you definitely want to go back to your employer and get your designated amount increased, because you're losing out in this particular situation. You're losing out on $4,300 of what could have been tax-free income to you, because that's the amount you could have been limited to if your designated amount was higher. So just go back and request a higher amount of minister's housing allowance in this case. I always tell people it's better for the designated amount to be a little higher than the actual than the other way around, because like I just said, in this example, we can never go back and get that $4,300 as tax-free income. It just is what it is at this point. So always better to have your designated amount a little higher than your actual than the other way around, so you don't miss out on any benefit there. So that's this tab of the tool. Again, if you were in the same house and your housing allowance didn't change throughout the year, this is the tab that you want to use. Now I'm going to put a link in the description to the other video which will walk through the second tab, which is what you're going to want to use if you move during the year, or if your housing allowance either increased or decreased or started or stopped during the year. You're going to want to use that second tab and walk through how to calculate your housing allowance that way. To download it, use it, document your housing allowance this way, give it to your tax preparer to show them, hey, here's how I calculated what my housing allowance was, and they'll be able to use this. It'll be a very easy way for you to provide it to them. My name is Brad. I'm with Wooten CPA. My goal is to bring peace to your finance and tax responsibilities. I hope that these videos, and specifically this tool, will help bring peace to you during your next tax season. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Please hit the like button on this video as well as the bell so that you're notified when new videos come out. And thank you for watching.